Hey guys, and welcome to the Hobby News. Okay, so I'm a little late on this one. Life got in the way, so we're a day late. But here we go, we're into it. And for anyone that's interested, I guess I don't really talk about this much, but just in case you're wondering about the videos and when they come out, usually it's Wednesdays for news vids, and then every other Thursday is usually my hobby or painting videos. So next week we've got one coming for a painting video. I guess as this goes live, probably sometime today there'll be a post that'll show a sneak peek of the mini, but it's going to be a fun one, so you should enjoy it. Along the same lines as some painting videos I've been doing recently, so it'll be a continuation of some, I guess, creative explorations as you do. But otherwise, yeah. So I just thought I'd let people know, as I don't often talk about my schedule or whatever, but yeah, it's generally 3 videos a fortnight is usually the thing, and sometimes more depending on what's happening. Like if I'm releasing products for my own brand, Blood of Gods, which you can see in the down there, then I might do more videos, or if there's something special going on, or I just happen to be way more productive than normal, then I'll release more painting videos and so on. But that's usually the schedule. So today we've got some news. So there's a few things, not too much happening, I guess, apart from Horus Heresy coming, but we've got some other things for Infinity as well, so I thought we'd have a look at that, because they've been releasing some pretty interesting models lately, and it's been catching my eye. So we're definitely going to be doing some painting videos on some more Infinity stuff. I've got some good ideas for some of the factions and some color schemes, so that'll be a fun one, but that'll be later in the year. But so for today, we're looking at the Sunday preview for Horus Heresy, the big starter box, and all the things that come with that. So let's take a look. So the long wait is over and the long war begins. Warhammer The Horus Heresy, The Age of Darkness box set comes to pre-order this Saturday, so this week, alongside a bundle of extras. After a slightly extended pre-order period, all this will be in your hands in just 3 short weeks. Here's, wait for more. Okay, so we're not going to look at the video, but we'll come down to, we've already looked at this, but, and plenty of people would have seen this online. You would have probably seen many images of this, but it's a very big box, right? And God knows how much it's going to be in Australia. I don't expect anyone in Australia to really buy this. It's so expensive unless you're, got that good doctor money or lawyer money. You might be able to afford just lashing out on one of these. But, with the number of models that's in there and generally what the price of boxes are in Australia, I can't imagine this being any less than $600. It feels like it's going to be more than that. It could be upwards of 800. Who knows? So it's a very, very particular, or only in certain circumstances, sort of starter box. This is really more like a massive army box, really, rather than a starter box. It just happens to come with a rule book and dice and so on, but really this is an army box. If you look at the number of models that are there, you're really looking at like a sort of starter army box or something like that. But it is still cool. I'm not throwing shade on it. It's great that they're offering this much. It's just the price point is probably going to be a bit restrictive for people on this side of the world. I can't even imagine. I don't even want to think about what the price will be for New Zealanders. They're going to have to get out a second mortgage or something to afford this box. I don't know. They may not even send it to New Zealand just because it's so prohibitive in terms of cost. Hopefully they put it at a decent point, but it's a thing here in this side of the world. If anyone doesn't know that, we pay the maximum dollars for all of our hobby goods, and some would say it's an arbitrary upping of cost. There's no definitive answer on that, but it's always been the case since I was young. Australia and New Zealand have always paid about, I'd say somewhere between 10 and 20% more likely 20% more, maybe even more than that. I don't know, but there's just like an additional cost that gets added on to everything, and it doesn't quite line up with shipping costs and things like that. It's a point of contention that many content creators and people over the years have talked about. The maths don't add up on why there's this additional cost, because if you look at like exchange rates, it doesn't add up there either. There's something weird going on that sort of gets tacked on to prices here, and who knows, maybe it's some sort of tax or something that they're paying that they want to soak up the cost of. It's very difficult to know, but it's always been the case right from the beginning. So anyway, apart from all of that, I won't go into old man Oz griping about costs of minis, because that's been going on forever over as well in every country around the world. But look, it's a great box set, and it'll be super fun. I'm particularly pumped about the Mark 6 armor. I've been wanting something like this for a very long time. I think it's great. They've got a whole box of them. I've wanted to do like an all beaky Dark Angel army for a long time, for like years and years and years, all the way back to my GW days when I was working for them. I wanted to do that. But, it's difficult to do a whole army of them if you don't have access to a lot of bits and so on. And this makes it easy. And they're a little bit bigger and a bit more in scale, which makes it nicer to paint and so on. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this just from a modeling and painting point of view. And I really like the old school rules. So for me, this new Heresy rulebook is kind of, quite nice for me because, like others that are sort of my vintage in this hobby, we still enjoy some of that old stuff, and having access to a set of rules that's current that you can play some games with, using scatter dice and templates and stuff, and these old red measuring sticks, which I remember fondly from good old days in the stores, running around chasing after kids with the sticks. It's a lot of fun when you got to keep them in line on a games night. That's right. Games Workshop stores used to have a thing called Games Night, and we'd run games for them and stuff, and it was just a madhouse of crazy things going on. But a lot of fun. Everyone always had a good time. So yeah, this brings back a lot of memories. But anyway. So, we've seen all that before, and then we've got the book and so on. But I think, we just come down here, these obviously got little tokens and cards that they always do, but these books here are pretty nice. I like that they're sort of putting all the, I guess, different army factions into one book, or at least all of the Space Marine stuff all into one, and then you've got the same for the heretics. So that'll be really nice if they do these sort of big compendium books that have a lot of information in them and so on. That's a really nice, just a collector's piece. That's what it feels like anyway. This looks like a pretty chunky book. It says, so 344 pages. So that's really nice. I do like that. And just from a collection point, even if you're not going to play the game regularly or whatever, this is kind of nice, just as a book on its own. As we all know, that's one of their other big things that they do, is that they're really just a book company that sometimes produces miniatures. That's the joke that always goes around. And, this is definitely showing that that seems as though there's going to be a lot of effort put into these books. So that's really great. It gives that, I guess, historical feel to this game, which is what they're trying to go for, and I think it shows in what they've shown so far. Really cool. And then they're going to release their upgrade packs. So we've already looked at this as well, but all the different little upgrades that you'll be able to do for the weapons and so on. The best one of all, which is the old school missile launcher. That's a great new piece that's being added, which is super cool. I'll definitely be using those. And obviously the new plastic tank kit here as well. So look, a great bunch of, and the Rhino, I guess, as well. And then obviously we've got the Mark III and Mark IV armor variants that they're putting into boxes for those that are still collecting the older variants and like the slightly older school scale of the minis. Then that's great. You've got that. So all in all, pretty fun little offering for those that are into this. For everyone else, I guess this doesn't mean much to you. But look, I mean, it's all good, right? That's I like to see this sort of thing. It's just adding to the complexity of your hobby and what you can get out of it. So we just got to hope that the price point is at a decent level, right? That's the only thing, or at least for people on this side of the world, we're always hoping for that. Going to the shrine and giving our prayers for a good price. So that's all we'll talk about here for old GW and the Horus Heresy. It is looking pretty positive, and I like to see these old rules back in the full swing of things, because they do mean a lot to me and others. It reminds me of the days when I was young and I had more hair. That's always good. So let's go over to Infinity and take a look at what they've got. So we've got these Morat Tarlok pack. Now, the names in Infinity are still kind of baffling me. I'm trying to get my handle on all the factions and how it works, but this is called the Combined Army. So I'm not exactly sure what that means, but from the look of what I've been looking at the models, I'm assuming that means it's more than humans. So you're getting like abhumans or alien races or mixed with humans. I'm assuming that's what it is, as this comes from a country that English isn't necessarily their first language. You see that in the descriptions and the way they write their material. It has that sort of, I guess, flow or cadence to the sentencing or the structure, the way that the words that are used feels like that. Coming from someone who has grown up around, I guess English teachers and people like that in my life, drilled into me at a young age, you can tell those sorts of things. And so I'm assuming that's what this is. And from the look of these models, which we can have a look at in a second, I think that's what it is. Someone can correct me that's into Infinity more than me. But yeah, I'm really liking it though. This is something that I talked about on my previous news vid on some Infinity. I like it when they're adding, I guess, the fantasy or the hyper real or the that sci-fi fantasy flavor into these. So not so much the tech aspects of sci-fi, but that sort of that extra high fantasy element. So creatures, just the shape language of that in the terms of the sculpts, just adding a little bit of extra something to make them unique, like this model here with the that sort of abhuman look. With it just changes the shape and gives you a little bit of extra character into what can otherwise be quite a like not samey sculpting style, but sci-fi, these sort of battlesuit type designs can get very similar in terms of their shapes, especially if you look at them from a distance. There's very little telling you except from color what the difference is between this and, let's say, a Yujing one or that. And that's only a small commentary on the Infinity, I guess, design language, but anywhere where they can break that and give you a little bit of variation in the look and feel is, I think, a really positive thing for something that's very, very tight in terms of its design, and it is probably something that the designers are always looking at and trying to develop and evolve as they go, because it is difficult to tackle this type of subject matter and keep it fresh and keep it new. It's the same problem that you get with Space Marines in Games Workshop, right? To the age-old joke, another lieutenant. It's very difficult to get vibrant differences in a design language that's so similar. And so anytime you can add that extraordinary kind of fantasy, high fantasy sort of element to a sci-fi design, I think it really lifts it and gives it something special. So that's just my little thoughts on that, and I'm really digging on these. These are pretty fun, so you might see some of these on the channel too. I've got some ideas for Infinity, so that is coming, but look, I really like all those kinds of designs where they break the overall silhouette, I guess, of these minis. So let's take a closer look. So we've got the Tarlok battle group was key to the rapid progress of the Morat forces along the Paradiso fronts. Wherever it was deployed, the aggression force achieved positive results and gained ground. So I don't know if anyone's does English or whatever, but can you tell how the descriptions here, it's just in the language they're using. So there are slightly nicer ways to set this up, which if you're a native English speaker, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But there's a sort of a direct way that they're describing this, which sort of makes it they're doing really well. Like, it's great, but there's these little things that you could add to flavor this up to make it really, really sing as sentences. Sorry, I'm just getting into the English thing here. I will stop. But anyway, just a little something I've noticed as I've been going through all the Infinity stuff. It's there, which is fine. It's just an interesting little point anyway. So yeah, no matter how foreign the jungles of Paradiso might have seemed to other combined army troops, the Tarlok felt right at home. This box includes 3 minutes. Yeah, okay, so we don't need to worry about that. So yeah, it's cool, right? So I'm assuming that's what it is. We've got like a variety of I guess, species in this combined army. So let's take a look at the individual models. So yeah, I really like this. I like the color, the magenta red. That deep red is really lovely. The building up to those pink white highlights, that's something I really enjoy doing. And again, we've got that lovely turquoise and blue green going on to contrast against it. It's the right choice. You'll see that a lot on my models. We've got some nice greens in here as well, even a little bit of turquoise on the edges there. So they're bringing all that together. You can see how they're combining those colors to harmonize it. Even in the blacks, we're seeing a little bit of blue here in some of the elements, but also using neutrals. So that's also something that you don't always see in a lot of display minis these days, is the use of neutral greys for highlighting on blacks. I think it's really important. It doesn't get often talked about enough. Everyone usually defaults to you should just do blue, and that is correct in a lot of cases, but something that's really useful when using neutrals, and I talk about this a lot, I use it a lot, and you'll see it in all my painting videos. Neutrals are a great way of framing other colors and sort of pushing something that's not as important into the background, or to stage it for something else. And so here the painter is prioritizing the reds. Okay, the reds versus that blue-green and any of those combinations as the most important element here, and pushing those blacks back. If all the blacks here were all blue, if you had all of that blue there, it would really dominate and really push away the importance of this vibrant red. You would lose it a bit because it'd be too much of a contrast. So this way, you only get those moments where you get to rest your eyes and look at these nice red elements, and then coming into that spot color of yellow to bring you towards the center of the mini and so on. They're all really important things, and that's the power of that neutral black. So don't be afraid to use it in your own models. If your whole interest is painting this really nice color, and a lot of the rest of the armor you want to just not have it as dominant, then do a neutral, and you'll see the difference as opposed to if you were to do a blue highlight here. So they've still got the blues, but it's more secondary. You see how it's only a few elements, it's not taking over the whole model, and I think that's really important. It's also next to a yellow element. You see that blue yellow, that's the ultramarine thing. That also works really well, you see. So yeah, just some little things that I've noticed about this paint scheme and that they're trying out here, which isn't always the case. Neutrals don't always get used, but they are really useful. So yeah, it makes this whole color scheme, that red, really, really vibrant. So yeah, nice work. So let's see if we can see another little close up here. So I think I want to have a look at this. So this is this extra fantasy element, right? And I think that it's super cool to see this, because you don't often see a lot of these so far with these Infinity models. You don't often see a lot of these bare heads with like other sort of species, and this is kind of the first one I've seen so far, or at least that I can remember. Although I'm old, so forgive me, I'll forget a lot of things a lot of the time. But yeah, I really like this. I think this is a real fun idea, and gives this model a lot of character. So yeah, this is definitely something I'm tempted to have a go at. And you've got a lot of bare flesh here, so you can do some nice blends and different color combinations on the flesh, which is really cool. So yeah, all in all, a lot of fun. I really like these. So yeah, something fun for Infinity. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit that like button, subscribe button. It really helps me out. And I guess I'll catch you on the next one.